Before we begin, A Hero Rises 2024 has concluded, Attuned Peony claims victory, and will lead the All Green Dream banner later this month. Log in for a free copy, I believe starting March 19th or 20th. The 4-man banner will be Attuned Peony, Wind Tribe Claude, Winter Dimitri, and Legendary Female Lear. If you're in the mood for spring alts instead, we have a new seasonal banner out now. Today we'll be talking about the bunny alts for Mirabilis, Sylvain, and a harmonic pair of Chloe and Cordelia. New to Fae from Engage is Framme. Sadly, she got baltised, but I won't give up hopes for Brawling Gauntlets, Martial Arts, whatever they want to call it. Now, we'll talk about everyone's stats and skills, and discuss your own playstyle and build ideas. First up, the 4-star focus is Spring Mirabilis. She's available at 4 and 5-star rarity. Mirabilis is late to the rearmed and attuned fairy alts, but she's still a fairy dancer, which means she kinda is just better than what a normal dancer can do. She's a 4-star focus, but her unique dance essentially makes her a 5-star. For stats, she has 37 HP, 36 attack, 18 speed, 36 defense, and 41 res. Like previous alts, Mirabilis is a slow min-max dancer. She has an attack super boon, but 36 base attack, bit low. Not the highest HP either, but she's doing her best to survive attacks. For old skills, Mirabilis has Mystic Boost 3 and Attack and Res Rain 3. Mystic Boost is honestly still kinda hard to get, mainly locked to Air or Ymir. For her weapon, Mirabilis has the Daydream Egg, grants a flat plus 3 res if penalty is active on any foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on Mirabilis, inflict -5 attack, defense and res, and guard on the foe during their combat. For Mirabilis' combat, if foe has 175% HP or an active penalty, they grant +5 attack, defense, and res, and grant or give flat damage reduction equal to 20% of her resistance stat. Similar to previous alts, Mirabilis can punish foes with penalties for the team. The -5 stats and guard are actually better than both of her previous alts. Combat-wise, we got extra defensive tools, not gonna do a lot of killing. For her unique Spring's Dream Dance, grant another action to an ally, at the same time grant +6 attack and bonus doubler to the ally and allies within 2 spaces. Then inflict -6 attack and panic on the nearest foes within 5 spaces of the danced ally, and it will spread out to 2 spaces from there. If you like Winter Mirabilis, don't look, cause this Spring alt's weapon and dance are complete upgrades. For Mythic Mirabilis, her remix dance grants a low status. Here we kinda have panic, which is kinda doing the same job of punishing enemy field boss. Mirabilis now also grants bonus doubler, and it hits multiple allies, kinda like a rally up. Mirabilis only grants 1 field buff, so for max value, try to bring other buffing skills. In terms of playstyle, Spring Mirabilis wants to ideally use Spring's Dream on an ally. That buffs the ally, debuffs the nearest foe. If the foe is in line with Mirabilis, Daydream Egg adds more debuffs with guard. Her base kit is okay with Attack and Res Rain being able to apply more in-combat debuffs, but foes will have to walk up to Mirabilis and her team. You can do double rains, but there's a new Crux C skill that has the same long range as Daydream Egg. It also gives allies a follow-up on enemies in the debuff zone. Very interesting. That said, the C slot is super competitive. Guidance 4 for Deadly 2-space warping, Tier 4 ploys since Mirabilis has good starting base resistance. These can apply debuffs without needing to dance. In the B slot, you can run stuff like Kanto, Fly Formation, and the classic Wings of Mercy. Flyer mobility skills can also go in the Seal slot. Now, it's almost too perfect that Attuned Peony is going to be free. If you want more field buffs for bonus doubler, Rock Slide Dance 3 grants speed and defense buffs and dodge. You could run Torrent Dance as a sacred seal to fully buff one ally. That's fun, but since bonus doubler can hit multiple allies, maybe you want general team buffing skills like Hone or Fortify. Now, before you sacrifice Peony, do be aware that if you want to use Spring's Dream, you cannot use Attack Oath Echo at the same time. That's a huge bummer because that means we also can't run Soaring Echo as well. In terms of survivability, things are a little rough. If you want a % dare skill to pair with the flat damage reduction, you could use Guard 4, Quick Riposte 4, or Brash Assault 4. Brash 4 can give a follow-up attack, but I don't know. If you want to be attacking Mirabilis, you can use Remote or Impact A skills to try and survive initiation, and then that could maybe set up something like a Guidance Warp. This can be a perk of the larger attack range, but can Mirabilis even survive one round? Additionally, if you're attacking, you're not dancing. Overall, the fairy dancers continue to be just head and shoulders above any regular dancers because you can't inherit a new dance assist. Any support options besides weapons, the fairies can use too, and being flyers makes them mobile. I think the main downside for this Mirabilis is not being able to use attune skills. Her fellow book for fairies who got alts last year can run those, and Attack Oath or Soaring Echo would be amazing skills. Still, for 4-star focus, Really can't go wrong here. Next up, Sylvain has finally been promoted from his 4-star ults, and he's got another banner full of ladies. 5-star Spring Sylvain is quite something. Lance Cavalier, 40 HP, 47 attack, 45 speed, 32 defense, 21 res, classic Lance Cav dumping res. When an attack super boon, I believe Sylvain will have the highest attack for the class, and 45 speed is more than solid enough. For all skills, in a huge surprise, Dimitri has already shared no quarter. That's good since I was kind of worried the thing was going to be locked to him for a long while. Now for other skills, Sylvain has rally attack and speed plus, and then attack and speed clash 4, good stuff. He may not have his hero's relic still, but Flingster Spear is pretty good. If Sylvain uses a rally assist, he gains breath type cooldown as a status and heals 7 HP. Afterwards, Sylvain gets another action. For combat, he has accelerated specials. If above 25% HP, gain +5 to all stats. Offense and a follow-up grants 40% DR for first attacks with an S. And if Sylvain has that breath type cooldown status active, then he also gains no guard and brave hits. Poor Annette just gotta refine, and Sylvain's already taking that rally plus extra action playstyle. However, I've seen some comments saying that this might actually be more of a reference to Sylvain interacting with Sane. Sane has the same rally into extra action. While the extra action makes Sylvain more unpredictable and opens up more options, Flingster Spear gives huge benefits for rallying. Sylvain can heal out of combat, you can double rally for 14 HP, and that could be a tactic if you're stalling. Breath type cooldown with Slaying means no quarter charges in one action. No guard makes that more consistent. You then got brave attacks, meaning Sylvain can charge no quarter on hit 1, proc it on hit 2. If he outspeeds you, then you have quad potential with % DR to take a counter. I have to say, really neat weapon. If you have a breath type cooldown status from things like Legendary Hinoka, then you can get around needing 2 rally. The brave hits can work on enemy phase, so Sylvain can be pretty dangerous if not respected. Next, Sylvain will bring our first tier 4 for near trace Kanto B skills, this one for speed and defense. Enables Kanto remaining +1 minimum of Kanto 2. Inflict minus for speed and defense on the foe during combat. Unit deals 7 true damage on hit, including for AoE specials. Basically, same deal as Far Trace 4, but with a minimum of Kanto 2 instead of 1. Currently, there is a notification saying the description is incorrect for the warping and Kanto section. However, I don't really understand what the issue is. It just seems like they're rewording things, unless I'm misunderstanding something. Nothing has changed in-game. Regardless though, Near Trace 4 adds more damage, and minimum Kanto 2 is obviously better than Kanto 1. Now, Spring Sylvain is just ready to roll out of the gate with a fun offensive kit. Rally an ally to gain breath type cooldown, heal 7 HP, get another action. Initiate with brave hits, and thanks to Slaying, breath type cooldown, and no guard, you got a good shot at a 2-tap instant no quarter for DR piercing. If the foe survives, Sylvain has 40% DR to take a hit, and with offense and no follow-up and good speed, you can go for a potential quad to finish a job. After combat, retreat with Kanto 2 at minimum. Tech and Speed Clash is excellent to ignore debuffs with lots of stats, and then for enemy phase, Sylvain can keep his brave hits, assuming you got that status active. You're kinda locked into rallying every turn, but you can get around this with teammates. You can still double and proc no quarter without breath type cooldown, but Sylvain will have to take a hit. As usual, the downside to brave hits is that if the enemy doesn't die, you risk charging specials for retaliations. If you're willing to drop near trace, Sylvain can use Desperation 4 with offense and a follow-up to quad all in one go. As a cheaper option, Wind or Water Sweep work too. You need to outspeed for a quad, and 4 hits in a row means potentially double no quarter procs as well. Absolutely disgusting. You can even still get Kanto by using Alarm C skills. If you keep near trace though, Incite is probably the best stat boosting skill. Menace can work too. For other skills, of course, gotta mention Flared Strike. Just cause it's new, Potent 4 can get us that cursed 5 attacks. For more support, you can run something like Ruse Devo since Sylvain does have the extra action. For specials, if you run into no special charging from things like Tempo, then 2-tap no quarter isn't going to happen. You could run the 2 cooldown specials, but that means no DR Pierce at all. Maybe use Quick Impulse or just Premium Emblem Marth for 1 cooldown no quarter. Alternatively, if you want, Sylvain can Gale Force just fine. For tune skills, Deathblow Echo is great, more attack for the brave hits. All in all, Spring Sylvain, surprisingly fun. Extra actions aren't exactly common, and he has a full 16-mite weapon with brave attacks potentially, and high base attack. Top it off with lots of cooldown perks, and already having no quarter is just amazing out of the box. Our third banner unit is Spring Framme. They really left Clan out, but at least Framme's axe has eggs painted with patterns for Clan and Vander. Apparently the red and blue on the handle are also for Alir. Now sadly, Framme is an axe infantry unit. I just want brawling and Fey, man. For stats, Framme will have 45 HP, 41 attack, 46 speed, 30 defense, 31 res, attack super boon, but Framme sacrifices some attack for more HP. That does have a purpose. For old skills, Framme has Dragon Fang, Spurn 4, and Infantry Pulse 4, third holder for both of those newer passives. While Framme's higher base HP can be used for Infantry Pulse, it's also used for her weapon, the Hippity Hop Axe. This weapon is wild, so bear with me. First off, grant +4 to all stats and X% DR to allies within 2 spaces during their combat. If Framme is full HP, X is equal to her HP value. If Framme is hurt, it is half of her HP value. If Framme is at full health with 60 HP, she gets the max of 60% damage reduction. Now, after this % DR is used on an ally, Framme will take 1 self damage, and this happens even if the DR gets pierced. Don't fret though, because every turn, if Framme is within 2 spaces of an ally, she holds herself and those allies for 7 HP. Now for personal combat, Framme has accelerated specials. If she's within 3 spaces of an ally, grant bonus stats equal to Y. Y is the number of allies within 3 spaces times 3 with a base of 5. Have 3 nearby allies for a max +14 to all stats. Now, if Framme has a dragon ally in that range, she automatically gets +14 to all stats. Next, Framme gets full tempo effects, and last, she gains % DR for first attacks with an S equal to Z. Z is Framme's HP value at the start of combat. Max of 60% for 60 HP. My god. Hippity Hop Axe is actually trying to implement Chain Guard. From Engage, it doesn't nullify 100% damage, but it also doesn't take 20% of Framme's health, and she can still use it even if she's hurt at half the % DR value. As mentioned, if you want that 60% DR aura for allies, Framme must have 60 HP. In addition, once one ally uses the % DR, Framme will take self damage, so her max DR is 30% for second fights onward. At the very least, she will heal 7 HP every turn. This means you can reset for that 60% DR potential every new player phase. However, similar to someone like Garrick, if you send Framme to actually fight and she loses HP, this is going to lower her Chain Guard effectiveness, and it also lowers her own % DR because that's tied to her HP as well. In all the madness of this weapon, we also have our first Z variable. I guess Framme's ready for that new Pokemon game. To cram in even more references, as a steward of the dragon, Framme will get her max stat boost if she fights near any dragon. Doesn't have to be a Leer, but that's a cute nod. To help Framme hit 60 HP, she comes with Firestorm Boost 3, same deal as the other tier 4 Boost A skills, grant +5 HP, if above half health, grant +7 attack and speed. If you're near a healthy ally, also you gain Guard. Framme kinda already wants to be near allies and she heals passively, so it's a fine skill. There are better selfish skills, but we're using Boost for Chain Guard. I would say Framme is a combat unit trying to sneak in some of her Chi Adept healer class abilities. I think Chain Guard was a neat main game addition, so it's cool to see it trying to be implemented in Fey. It can be pierced, but a potential 50 to 60% damage reduction aura, at least for one ally's fight, is still quite good. Even after combat, Framme only takes 1 damage, so this could still be like 25 to 30% DR for multiple attackers. Now, to hit these values, you do need 50 to 60 extra HP, 45 base is good, but either A, you use Aether Raid type Blessing bonus stats, or B, you bring HP boosting skills and give investment to Framme. Firestorm Boost can get you to 50 HP for 50% DR for allies in Framme. You can go with a squad a Sacred Seal, and technically Summoner Support will also give 5 HP. That can get you 60 HP without other bonuses. This is a situation where ideally you do want all the HP you can get, but also Framme loses out on other fun skills. For example, her weapon has Slang and Tempo. Would be really nice for some cooldown skills like Flash Sparrow, Flashing Blade, Darting Breath, and then Finish 4 for those healing as well. For her base kit, Infantry Pulse 4 is super fun for team support and the Self Times Pulse 3 effect. If Framme can double while taking a counter, she can actually proc Dragon Fang. With Sperm, the extra dodge DR is nice insurance in case Framme does get hurt later on. At full HP though, if she has 50 HP for example and then max dodge, you would get 75% damage reduction for all hits. That's not bad. If you want to have some DR piercing, no quarter can be used. Physical no follow is good because Framme is another speedy unit with no follow up effects. You could use infantry no follow 4, but the B skill will give partial DR pierce. For other skills, Potent can add more pressure. Bulwark 4 has that after combat healing. That would be pretty nice if you want Framme to fight a lot herself. For the C slot, Oath 4 or Pledge are both really good. For specials, Framme is in a decent spot for Vital Astral or Godlike Reflex builds. For Godlike Reflexes, Buffer would be good for the pre-charge, but you're gonna need Severa for that. Maybe you can save up those new Divine Codes for later on. Overall, Spring Framme is a decent speed infantry, but is sacrificing some personal combat for team support. She does rely on HP for ally and self % DR effects, so it makes sense to use her base kit. If you see Framme, you gotta have to treat her like the other Drive % DR supports. You can counter her with Feud or pierce through that chain guard. Imagine if they actually went with a full nullify one hit effect like in Engage. God, we're gonna end up there at some point, aren't we? Now last up for today is Harmonic Spring Chloe and Cordelia. Fellow Pegasus Knights unite, and Chloe will be a red flying mage. For stats, she has 40 HP, 43 attack, 47 speed, 22 defense, and 26 resistance. Speed Super Boon is excellent. I believe that ties for fastest mage in the game. For old skills, we have Draconic Aura, Remote Sparrow, and, oh boy, Occultist's Strike yet again. For Chloe and Cordelia's Skyhopper Egg, it grants Kanto 1. Every turn if Chloe is above 25% HP, she grants +6 attack and speed field buffs, the charge status, and I think a new status for 40% damage reduction for one hit when you initiate on herself, allies within 2 spaces, and then allies in a support partner pair. This will exclude pairings with Chloe. This weapon also accelerates specials. If above 25% HP, grant +5 to all stats, grant bonus attack and speed equal to the number of allies with the charge status times 4. Chloe then gets true damage on hit equal to 20% speed, and she pierces DR skills by 50%. Interesting little weapon here. We got support buffing and a whole lot of firepower. First off, Chloe can give her buffs to allies in support pairs. I assume this has no range limit. Should this occur, 2 allies with charge is enough for the max +8 attack and speed bonus. Only restriction is that Chloe cannot be part of the support pairing. You need to go find a completely separate pair of units. If you don't have paired up units or you're using her on defense, Chloe will still function. She gives her buffs to everyone nearby. Like Legendary Hunica, you can have an entire team bolt straight forward 3 spaces, and this isn't tied to flyers only. Additionally, initiators get bonus damage reduction. Now for combat, Chloe has lots of attack and speed, true damage, and partial DR pierce. Slaying is also nice as well. For their Harmonic skill, this affects allies from Engage or Awakening, grant -2 cooldown to the unit and allies from the same titles, also grant Resonance Blades and the Incited status. Nothing complicated here, free -2 cooldown at any point and more in combat stats. Chloe can activate Prime 4 for allies with this skill. The charge statuses through movement will also give us the max bonus for Incited. That's another +3 to all stats when you initiate. Last new skill for today is Speed and Res Crux. This is another tier 4 range skill for flyers. This version inflicts -4 speed and res on foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit, and then those foes also take a free follow-up attack during combat. Crux is pretty funny because essentially it power creeps the Hold C skills. Those are tier 4 reigns and 3 space debuffing zones, but this Crux's zone covers that and more. Same debuff amount, and then foes take a free follow-up as well. Crux is very interesting because first off, this is technically a follow-up skill in the C slot. Chloe has no offense and no follow-up, and without something like Brash 4, this is basically her way to get past follow-up denial. Spring Mirabilis can also get a follow-up from this skill and keep that B slot open. The follow-up debuff or zone could be fun for someone like Ashnard. Gurgurant's new Refine is a giant 4-space debuffing aura, and one of its effects is follow-up denial. You pair that with Crux, and now Ashnard has an Omni Breaker effect for his team in that zone. That is definitely unique. Hopefully, they don't lock Crux away like they did with Rain Snap. Neat little skill, but man, the Flyer C slot is extremely competitive. For general playstyle, Harmonic, Chloe, and Cordelia are pretty straightforward. Buff nearby allies, charge in. With her base kit, Chloe has 2% DR skills. She only gets +5 defense and res from her weapon, but hey, we'll take it. Chloe's here to deal damage. With Occultist's Strike, she has 2 true damage sources, 20% of her own speed and 20% of the foe's res. You then get that also fun 7 instant damage and then partial DR piercing. Chloe is reliant on Crux to bypass follow-up denial. If the foe has defense enough follow-up and follow-up denial, she ain't doubling. If you need more firepower, the Harmonic skill can pre-charge Draconic Aura and you get more stats for initiating. That's basically it. Long range, speedy flying mage with lots of damage sources. Some percent DR, but don't expect much. For team support, Charge is a lot of fun. The 40% damage reduction on initiation status is nice as well. If you got Engage and Awakening allies, the Harmonic skill is just free -2 cooldown, obviously very powerful. If you run Quicken Pulse, for example, Chloe can just prime an AoE special for herself out of the gate. For other skills, let's just get out of the way. If you want double percent DR, you can run Fleeting Echo, and then that lets us run Flared Strike. I mean, someone's gonna do it. If you don't need percent DR, you can just run Soaring Echo or Attack Echo for more mobility options. Charge does only go in a straight line. This applies to things like Guidance Force C skills, but you'll have to compete with Crux. Another option for an initiator like Chloe is Daily Miasma. She has Contour to reposition afterwards as well. I don't think many are going to replace Occultist's Strike, but Brash Force, another percent DR and follow-up skill. You could technically use Desperation with Crux's follow-up. If Chloe has really aggressive teammates, you could also just go Wings of Mercy in from anywhere. I think simply having half DR piercing in her weapon is enough to make her a threat, even if it's just a basic attack. Overall, Harmonic Chloe has decent firepower, but it's that team charge support that will make her annoying. It's only 3 movement in a straight line, but that hasn't stopped Edelgard from zooming all over the place. Just be aware of Warp Bubble. That's going to be it for this banner breakdown. Let me know your thoughts on our new units. Earlier this year, I casted some votes for Framme and Choose Your Legends. Well, now she's here, and I have no orbs. Guess that's what I get for still retaining hope that we'll get brawling someday in Fae. Now, if you're broke on orbs like me, we have a Tempest Trials reward unit for Spring Linhardt. We got another interesting inheritable weapon, but not sure how many units can use it besides Linhardt himself. We'll talk about why and more next video. Thank you for watching, good luck on summoning, and I will see you soon.